It breaks you, it frees you from what doesn't belong to you anymore.
Right.
And out of our unconscious love and loyalty. So this is what happens. Every child is very unconsciously loyal to their family system. Within some time, they lose all that money. Why? Because having a lot of money feels unsafe. So who lost it in the family system?
Gorgeous.
That is constellation work. Who
Yes.
lost it? Whose life are you repeating? What emotion is still frozen inside of you that you're carrying here? Is it a guilt? Because in the body, we carry guilt or burden or responsibility on our shoulders. So people, over a period of time, so for me, triggers represent an opportunity to heal.
Yes.
Which means this land provides some form of subconscious healing also. But if you look at it from a very 3D perspective, that, this is what it is. I mean, I'm feeling a lot of stress in this country and blah, blah, blah. It's my life purpose. That's how I look at it. I'm very passionate about it. So much so that even when I sleep, I'm doing the work.
Oh my God. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unleash. Today is a very special episode, very close to my heart, and I am so excited to have our profound guest, Shaista Zeeshan, with us today. She is the founder for OnceAwaken Transformational Center. Her main she's a practitioner in being a trauma-informed energy healer. She deals with family constellations, a facilitator, a teacher of ancestral and soul-level healing modalities, also encapsulating spirituality, systematic wisdom, and also into Reiki with Akashic Records and transgenerational trauma. And I would like Shaista herself to introduce herself, and we are going to have a fantastic episode today. Hi Shaista, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And thank you for inviting me to this podcast of yours. And I'm very, very excited to be here. Yeah.
So tell us about yourself.
In snapshot, what I could tell you is that I have been on a very, very deep self-exploratory journey in my life. Ever since I was a child, I was very intuitive, I was very sensitive to subtle energies, and combine that with very premonitive dreams that I used to have as a child, something that never made sense to me as I was growing up. Then life happened, I got married, had children, and then I started having all these weird emotions and mental health issues that obviously never made sense to me and to the people who were around me. So I had postnatal depression twice after I gave birth to my children. And that's where for me, the darkest moment of my life came to the surface, where I felt very lost where I was in my life. Relationships never made sense to me. I was very, very scattered in my energy. And I started seeking higher wisdom, wanted to understand why I'm having pains in my body, why am I not able to connect with my children, why I can't connect with my partner, with my parents, with my siblings, even though I loved them. I mean, there was so much of love I had, but the disconnection was so big that I could never make sense of it. So in order to discover all the whys of my life, I started getting into spirituality and therapy world, just to understand where am I coming from, why the disconnect is there. In that pursuit, I dived myself into Reiki, and that sort of opened up a lot of newer perspective for me to to look into. And because of that, I started understanding a lot about myself, and then the depth was so much within that realm that I was discovering, that I continued my learning, my journey of healing myself, as well as so because I was able to heal myself and understand myself, I started integrating a lot of what was lost across time and space. When as a child you get fragmented, when traumas are happening, when the parents are disconnected from you, they're not emotionally present for you. So you basically get very disconnected from yourself. And that helped me. So the healing journey that I went into helped me integrate myself, that I probably would not have been able to do it if it was not because of this world. And then I started learning other modalities like hypnotherapy, emotional freedom technique, and then Akashic Records happened, which helped me to understand not just this life but other lives as well, and other multidimensional aspects that we all unconsciously carry but we have forgotten. And according to that, I also was able to understand that there are a lot of things which are hidden, which are under the conscious level.
Right.
Yeah. And Family Constellation basically helped me to integrate all the other modalities and made me understand that it's not just about being too much spiritual, like in the 5D, and you're, like seeking something in the unknown. It is also about grounding yourself in this human body by understanding what is it that you're carrying from your ancestors, right? Epigenetically and energetically, that has sort of created a very distorted view of your destiny, and you're not in hold of it. You're basically at the mercy of what has happened in your family systems and in your soul unconscious, and you're not really free. So unless and until you don't free yourself from the baggages that have been handed over to you by your ancestors and from your previous experiences as well, you're not free. So there's a beautiful saying of Carl Jung. He says that unless we don't make unconscious conscious,
become conscious.
Yeah, we call it destiny and we call it fate. But through the work that I do, I remind people that it is not your destiny, it is not your fate. These are the epigenetic transference of traumas rippling down the generational line. Until and unless you don't heal that, you're not free.
Shaista, like talking about all of this and you sharing all of your expertise, how do you feel personally now? After rediscovering these modalities, applying it on yourself, seeing that healing, and then being of service to all these people and them finding that amazing answer to their problems and medical problems.
Absolutely. So, like I said, since my childhood, I felt very ungrounded. I didn't know where I belonged. I didn't had a feeling of being free within myself. I was carrying a lot of these things that never made sense to me. And because of the healing work and because of family constellations and other modalities that I practice, it has given me a lot of tools to be able to make sense of what is happening in the world, right? So there are so many questions that we have about our personal individual life, and then people who we are in connection with, like the personal connections that we have, and then about the collective consciousness, what is happening in the world. It will never make sense if you're only trying to decode it from a conscious mind, right? It doesn't make sense, and then it creates a lot of anxiety and separation consciousness amongst people. But with the kind of journey I've been on, I have been able to understand the whys behind everything which creates pain and suffering in the world, either in a personal space or in the collective space. So you get to understand. So life still happens, yeah. There will be ups and downs. I can never say that, I'm 100% sorted and I have elevated to a point where I'm like,
free from all these worries and pain.
But it gives you the tool, the practical tools,
the ammunition.
Yes, you have certain beautiful armors and weapons to make sense of what is happening in your world, and according to that you make your life choices and you elevate.
And you make the best of.
Absolutely.
The knowledge that is with you and with the professional practical support. If you don't mind me asking, if you can share an example of some client coming to you with some problem and how you made that vital transition in their lives.
Yes, I mean, I see normal psychotherapy or not normal psychological interventions that people go through, or if they have depression and then they are on antidepressants for a long period of time. So basically they're never able to understand the root cause behind the symptoms that they're experiencing. Through these sessions that I conduct, and I'm sure there are so many other beautiful people out there also who are on the service of humanity and doing the same work, what happens is that the person first of all is able to understand where this is coming from, where is the origin.
Right.
So we are not looking at the surface level of a problem and having just a talk therapy. We can always talk about a situation without understanding what is under the rug. What is it that I'm carrying that is making me feel depressed or anxious or disconnected, or creating a pattern in my relationships where I'm attracting a lot of toxic partners, right?
And why am I having and you're in that repeating.
Yeah, you're looping. You are in a cycle.
Very natural and very very common.
Very common. So, there are so many people who come to me with a lot of complex issues. They're attracting partners who are disconnected or who are not fully present for them, or they can have money blocks, right? Money is also a huge,
Factor.
in everybody's life, where people are like, if everybody has tapped into their abundance, there will be no stress, there will be no anxiety, people will live in harmony, right? So money is a huge thing, which actually,
And many people are ashamed
to talk about it.
how important money abundance plays in everyone's life, and how
Absolutely.
many solutions
Absolutely.
it can
So
solve
the first
in everyone.
thing I tell people is to create a very strong intention as what is it that you really want to heal in your life? What is it that you want to restore and release in your life that you've been unconsciously carrying and you're not even aware of it? So these are hidden dynamics I talk about. These are hidden baggages everybody is carrying. Sometimes their body also represents the baggage they're carrying. They may,
Slouch.
Yes.
Of course.
And I can make it out from the awareness that I have. If I look at someone and they're slouching, so I can clearly make it out that they're carrying some energetic burden already and they're not aware of it.
Right.
So I can't go and tell them, oh, you need healing around this. I can't be the savior. They have to come from that space of knowing they want to make and bring changes in their life. This is what I want to work with. This is what I want to release and heal. Shaista, can you help me with that? And that's what I do it. So I get a lot of these clients with complex issues in relationships, in money blocks, business collapsing. So they start off their business and the business doesn't flourish. So they can't go further than one business. Then they can't extend to other branches.
And they have the capacity, they have the tools, they have the... and it's still not sorting.
Yeah, so we can't intellectualize our problems from the conscious mind, because the origin of the problem is not in the conscious mind at all. It is in the very depth of our soul, in our subconscious mind. And until and unless, and people are not aware how to go there, right? People have not been educated on how to access your soul, how to connect with your soul blueprint.
Absolutely.
So sometimes people come to me with a lot of brokenheartedness. Their hearts have been broken. So who was the first one to break it? They think that it's the relationship that they're in. So the partner betrays them or cheats them or abandons them.
They blame the external environment.
And they blame the partner for that. Through these sessions, what we uncover is who was the first heartbreak of your life.
Right.
Oftentimes it's the mother or the father. So everything.
And they have not even recognized.
They've not recognized. They feel that now we are adults, life should make sense.
And just put a rug on it and
Absolutely.
and just
so much suppression is there. It's very sad when I see a lot of suppression in people. They're absolutely masking and living a very unauthentic life. And it's very scary to put that mask down.
Of course.
And
that poker
reveal-
face.
Yeah.
Just something out of context, but some people told me, and I don't know how much, that's why I want to verify with you, some people have some thyroid issue.
Yeah.
And it goes with the blockage because they are not able to speak the truth with their partners or their family.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's the throat.
Yes. So they'll have hypothyroidism as a result of that, right? So I do deal with a lot of health issues, chronic health issues,
Yes.
in my therapy session. So from a very metaphysical aspect of what this person is carrying, that has now created this symptom in the body, which the body is trying to communicate to the person, and they can't connect the dots. They think it's just body. It's just a physical body having some form of symptoms.
Other reaction, but not to...
But if it's not getting better, there is a very deep root cause. Often such people are born in families where
They're silenced.
Yeah, the women were silenced. They went through abuse, right? They were never allowed to speak their truth. So a child is born in a system where already there are certain belief systems, ancestral belief systems, right, rooted, and you're celebrated if you follow them, and then you're condemned if you
Challenge.
if you challenge, not really challenge, but if you choose a different path for yourself, you'll be put to shame, you'll be humiliated, probably ostracized, that you're different, and now you're a bad child because you have chosen a different path. So it's very important for people to understand that they are not broken, but they're carrying some brokenness from their family. They're carrying these patterns of abuse, maybe.
Right.
That could create blockages in their body and create those symptoms. Once we are able to address it, It's gone.
Shaista, there's one more thing I want to understand is like we are a model for our children, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we don't realize that if we don't sort ourselves out,
Yeah.
they will be repeating a
Absolutely,
pattern which is
absolutely.
not their fault.
Oh my God, this is exactly what the inspiration behind my work is, my children. Because I know when I was unawakened, when I was not sorted, when I was unhealed, and I had my children, I passed on my anxiety to my children. I passed on my disconnection to my children. And only when I came into the healing world and I was able to figure that out for myself, now I could see what's there in my children that they too are carrying from me. So that has become my fundamental inspiration for the work that I do. And in every child now who comes across in my space and who hasn't come across in my space, I see my children in them. So the generational trauma work that I do, I do in
Yes.
service of not just the previous generations, because they too were unaware of the effects
Of the havoc
of
that
the
they're
ripple effect.
unconsciously causing.
Yeah.
Right.
So I in my space, I feel I am a bridge, and people like me are a bridge between the previous generations and the newer generations. So we have to do that work. So for me, it's not just my profession, it's my life purpose. That's how I look at it. I'm very
Amazing.
passionate about it. So much so that even when I sleep, I'm doing the work.
Oh my God. And this other question is that how does this ancestral trauma gets passed down and through generations, emotionally, energetically, or inherently? This is what you have explained, right?
Yeah.
And how do you, how do your sessions work? We have so many audience who would like to connect with you. And so do you do a diagnostic test or, yeah.
Yeah, so basically when a client comes to me and I come across multiple types of issues, so I don't have a particular niche in types of the work that I do. It can be a legal issue, it can be a money block, it can be a health issue. Relationship issues are very common that I keep on attracting. And people with sense of being lost, because that is what I experienced in my life. So I attract a lot of those people whose life mirrors what I have gone through already. So now with that knowledge and wisdom and healing energy that I have, and the tools that I possess, I'm able to create that transformation in them also. Obviously, they have to be that partner in their own healing journey.
Yes.
They have to participate in the work
They
that I
have
offer.
to be ready. That sense of
Absolutely.
readiness is
Absolutely.
And of course,
Otherwise, we can't help them.
right. And is it mostly men or women or children?
No, my work is open to all categories, all genders, because it's not about their age, it's not about their gender, it's about their soul trauma. That is what they're experiencing.
Yes.
So for me, every person, regardless of their age and gender,
Beautiful.
that is how I look at them. I look at the soul
As a
essence.
human.
As a human, yes, absolutely. So this work is very, very transformational. It's very mystical also. I often refer to it as a magical transformational experience that people go through, which uncovers the hidden dynamics people are carrying. They're influenced by that, but it's so much under the unconscious that they're not aware of it. So I'll give you I've got many examples to quote here.
Please do, yeah.
Yeah. So, sometimes a person would come and a woman would be my client, and she would be like, I keep attracting partners. I was married, then I got divorced, and now I'm looking for other people. And no matter what, I keep attracting partners who are either toxic or who are emotionally unavailable, or the connection remains for a year or two, and then something happens and we break off.
Nothing long term.
Yeah, nothing sustainable. So when I do these sessions, what oftentimes uncovers is that how the first masculine experience this woman had was also distant, was also toxic, was also emotionally unavailable. And that is the pain of this person as a child still having an effect in their adult life, and they're not aware of it. So unless and until we don't heal the first masculine wound this woman was subjected to, and she thinks it's fine, she can move on and move on from that story. No, the subconscious mind, the soul doesn't move on from there,
Because it has not been treated.
it has not been looked at. It's that child part of you which is longing to have a man in your life who would fulfill what your father could not fulfill. So in these sessions, I tell my client, look at your father, either in your mind, either using puppets, because I do with puppets as well in Family Constellations, or either we do it in live group healing workshops that I conduct, and then I do trainings as well. So I would tell that person to look at your father and see what happens. Immediately,
Absolutely.
they'll start having these sensations and emotions coming to the surface. Oh no, I can't look at my father. Can you please try? No, I can't. What happens when you do?
Yeah.
I'm angry. I'm very anxious. I can't look at my father. These are the truth statements that this person as a child was never able to do.
Even I know a lot of friends who have this very distant connections with their mothers.
Absolutely, yes.
And it
Yes.
distorts their compatibility.
Sense of self. They basically lose a sense of self.
They are, in nature, they are bitter, or there's something not aligning. And
Yeah.
and then later on, they're very at unrest because because they haven't had the closure.
Closure. Not the closure, the movement. So when they were children, and definitely when there's a father wound, there is also a mother wound. I was just getting there. So the first blueprint of any relationship and of love is with the mother. And if that became distorted, if that became disconnected, the person is seeking that in the father probably is working elsewhere, is not
Unavailable.
available, or there is a separation between the mother and father, and they've split together. So the consciousness of the child is also going to split. We call it split offs. So now they have split off inside of themselves, and they live their life with that split consciousness. Consciously sometimes being loyal to the mother, and unconsciously being loyal to the father.
Playing favorites.
Yes. So they still carry their father and mother inside of them.
Right.
And they grow up, they become teenagers, adolescent and adults, and they get into relationships, get into corporate world with that splits of consciousness.
My God.
So even when they go into the workspace, whatever is not healed in their family of origin, which is the mother, father, where their ancestral patterns shows up in the workplace.
Right.
So if a person is not able to, for example, connect with their boss in a healthy way, it's the issue of an authority. So who was that energy for you when you were a child? Whose energy is now being represented by your boss, by your manager, by your director, which is unhealed. So it's often the energy of a father.
Wow. And also, it's not just one boss. If they will go to another workplace,
they keep
it will have the same
unless we heal
disconnect.
it. Yes, until we look at it.
And we're always blaming that it's the boss' fault.
We do
Not
that.
knowing
we
that.
do that, and we keep skipping jobs, moving from one job to another. Maybe creating a victim consciousness around it, that something is wrong with me, or people are always a very sadistic point of view that people are always attacking me, and I'm the
victim
victim.
mentality.
So yes, if it serves you well, please continue. But if it doesn't, there will come a time in your life when
My
you'll be
God.
like, my God, this is a pattern, and I don't know what to do about it.
And I always say, not just in this, in anything, if you're a leader, if you're on the business position, if you don't take ownership of those actions, and if whether it's even I think the true authenticity of a leader is that they, even for their team members, they will take ownership of it. Like, that is the depth. Like you said before this podcast, people who don't have that depth, it's very difficult to connect
With them, yeah.
because they haven't, and no one teaches this in school.
That is the dilemma I often, feel it within myself, that why haven't been taught about, what are emotions?
Yes.
We can't even name emotions. Ask children how many emotions can they remember. Maybe it's just one or two of them. There are numerous emotions that are there in the human psyche, and we're not taught about them.
Yes.
We're not even taught about the healthier way of connecting with people, how to bond, how to find relationships, what is acceptable, what is unacceptable, right? What is money? We haven't been taught what is money. Yes, we learn maths, but what about it?
How to apply it?
How to apply it? So many people come out from colleges and universities, and this is not a judgment, this is just my observation, and they're still lost. They're still unsorted. Emotionally, they're still unsorted.
And it takes them many years of failure and being lost in confusion,
Yeah.
not having the right mentor or guidance. And life is so short, and it's limited, and it's running.
Yeah. By the time they realize that something is not worked out for them, they're already in their late 30s or mid 40s.
combined with some
the
health
midlife
issues.
crisis.
Yes. Shaista, one more thing. Do you get overwhelmed or tired or exhausted? Because when people are coming to you for sessions, come on, I mean, it's another energy, right? You are going into and tapping into their issues.
It would have. It used to earlier on when I was still learning how to, deal with the traumas of people. And it's not just that individual trauma, it's the collective trauma of their family field that I tap into.
Yes.
Right? And the collective consciousness, right? I do all that very complex work. But I think I'm attuned to it right now. And for me, like I said before, it's not like a profession, although I do make money out of it, but it's my purpose of life. So I derive my energy.
Beautiful.
From higher consciousness. And I love it because it somehow I'm always re-energizing myself. So I do take space out. I don't do back-to-back work.
Right.
In between so maybe I take 5 to 6 sessions a week and not more than that. And then I space out for 2-3 days and I'm on my own and I'm enjoying myself.
Yes.
I become like a child. If you see me in that space, you wouldn't recognize me because I feel like a child, like a teenager, remembering what I wasn't able to do when I was a teenager. So I go back in that energy to really take care of myself.
Beautiful.
Right? Only give away my energy in that time where I want to, not as a duty.
Set boundaries.
Not as absolutely. I always talk about healthy boundaries, and this is something in our cultures we are not taught. Nobody knows about healthy boundaries.
People pleaser, and then we end up burning
I've done
out.
all that. I was a big time people pleaser, always trying to make sure everybody's right, holding the family together, making sure the conflicts are resolved, getting into the businesses of something that probably my father would have dealt with, the family issues that all families go through. So stepping into the role of my father because my father is unable to do that. So I became very much parentified, trying to protect and trying to support parents either financially or emotionally, and then you're drained. You can't go into the future if you're still hooked to the past.
Wow.
Right? You cannot propel into the future. We have all those, vision boards and manifestations, and people do all that. I mean, that's fine. But if it's not working for you, there is more to it. That is what I teach.
How did you find that balance? That secret to keeping yourself sane, motivated, being able to.
So that is what happened when I tapped into my own family constellations. When I did my own healing journey around it, I came to know that I am carrying the anxiousness of my father, right, and the self-sabotage of, the anxiousness of my mother and the self-sabotage of my father. So all the fears that my father couldn't deal with became mine.
Did you confront them? Like, have you had
Not confronted as in an argumentative way, no. But there was a time when I was very much merged with my parents. So that is my personal journey. But I was too close to my parents, not creating my own identity. My identity revolved around how my mother and father are feeling, how they are behaving, are they fine, do they have any issues, and they always had issues. But the thing is, they were not able to deal with it.
Don't we all have issues with our parents, our partners,
absolutely.
our children? But
if you merged with that, with them, then your own identification will not happen.
Yes.
Like I said, since I told you that I had postnatal depression, that was a depression my mother felt when I was born. So the moment I gave birth to my own children, what I was carrying epigenetically got triggered the moment I saw my child for the first time. Because that is the impression of my mother when she was too much overwhelmed when having back-to-back children.
And it is so natural and it's so normal.
Yeah. The trigger, that it's a word we use in psychology, the trigger comes up the moment we are about to face a situation that resembles something that we have already experienced in the past. Oftentimes it is also a past of our parents. So when they were children, that is where constellation happens. So when my mother, father were children, what happened? How was their childhood? Were they also disconnected from their parents? What was going on in the environment?
Exactly. And if you don't heal from that, it will not be resolved for your coming legacy.
That movie.
Right.
That's a metaphor I use, that we are actually recycling the old movie in a new timeline.
Beautiful.
With no difference.
And if you can make that difference now,
Absolutely.
today.
Yes. So I'll give you a very quick personal example. If a mother is unwanted, so when the mother was a child, when she was in the womb of her mother and she was unwanted, because there were many children before her, right? So the grandmother, for example, my grandmother already had 6-7 children before she had my mother. She was already exhausted being a mother. So what kind of welcoming could happen to such a child? And then when that child becomes a mother herself, she doesn't know, she's not attuned to be the mother.
Exactly.
Even though it looks like that, she's grown up, she's beautiful, now she's, let's marry her off. She's not ready. She's not fully prepared. She's carrying so many things.
Can you share like another example of a constellation reveal the hidden dynamic and brought healing from maybe one of your clients or,
Yeah. So sometimes when people come to me with, for example, money blocks. Right? That no matter how much we try, we have a certain amount of money and we keep losing it, or the business collapses and we go bankrupt, or they have legal issues. So in some of these cases that I've dealt with, what shows up in the constellation process is that maybe 2 or 3 generations ago, their forefathers also went through loss of money, loss of properties, through migrations. So I do a lot of healing work around migration trauma that has happened in the family, and it's not healed. So if the grandfather, great-grandfather lost his land, farm, properties, money, identity because of the migration, right? That still has a ripple effect down the generation line, where they had to leave everything in order to survive and come to another foreign land and try to make a new identity out of it. So the trauma of leaving your land, your culture, your roots, your childhood, your neighborhood, sometimes your language also, has an effect. It's a traumatic effect in the subconscious of such families. So when a client comes to me, my client is not the only client I'm looking at. Their family system, the larger soul, which has not been looked at, becomes my client also. And that is why constellation work is very different from other forms of modalities.
And I think it becomes a bit more complicated. Now we see, and especially being in the UAE, you have people coming from all different countries, nationalities, and having people come into relationships from different cultures also requires a lot of understanding, depth, patience.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so I see diverse amount of people coming from different nationalities. For me, like I said before, I don't look at people, gender, age, right? Nationalities is one of them. I don't look at that. For me, the separation consciousness has kind of dissolved a lot. I'm more in the union consciousness, and I don't say that to inflate myself. I'm saying that because it has become a part of my embodiment.
And you have been lived in the UAE all your life.
Yes, I was born and raised here.
Yes, it's just it's such an amazing feeling, because I think you have also seen this nation grow, right? To a different
I'm getting goosebumps as I reflect on that.
Yes. And I think it also reflects on our growth, because I feel that this is a different, but UAE is a beautiful platform to cultivate your growth, your success, your understanding of people from...
It's actually a very high vibrational place.
Yes.
It's a very high vibrational place. Why I say that, in my healing journey, when I started seeing people also, most people who are coming to UAE as, the first timers, or they're expats and coming down here, immediately they'll start having triggers. So for me, triggers represent an opportunity to heal.
Yes.
Which means this land provides some form of subconscious healing also. But if you look at it from a very 3D perspective, that, this is what it is. I mean, I'm feeling a lot of stress in this country and blah, blah, blah.
Of course.
They will miss out on the
beauty.
On the beauty that this land provides to people, where all your survival instincts are coming to the surface, all your suppressed anxiousness or suppressed lack mentality is coming to the surface, which is very generational. And this land is providing you that opportunity. That's why in UAE we have lots of healers. In UAE, we have a lot of light workers, we have a lot of therapists. I mean, there's a lot of
Demand, yes.
synergy happening between the 3D and the 5D world. I don't know if you understand that, but yeah.
No, I don't, but I would love to on another episode.
Yeah, sure.
Shaista, tell me about so you apply different modalities, right, of Reiki and all of these different holistic treatments. Which one is your favorite, or how is it applied differently to every client?
I think 90% of the work I do is constellation, family constellation.
Mm-hmm.
Family constellation is not just family constellation, it's systemic healing.
Right.
It's systemic constellations also, which means that what is excluded in that family, what is excluded in that
The missing element.
Yes, what is forgotten, what has not been healed, what patterns still exist in that system, not just family, because families are also influenced by the larger systems. So the larger systems are the caste systems, the religious systems, the community, the social, the traditions, all those form systems. And we look at those systems also that has influenced a family system. So all those systems are influencing an individual and they're not aware of it, right?
Yes.
So it's a systemic healing that I do. 90% of my work is that. In other modalities also, such as Akashic Records, which is about the multidimensionality of our existence, right? I have also integrated constellation in that.
Beautiful.
So I teach Akashic. So I teach in a very different way, which means that it's not just about karma cleansing or clearing the past life soul, oaths and vows and promises or curses. There are a lot of curses also in families and in our past lives, which needs to be transmuted and cleared. So in all the other modalities, I have integrated a lot of constellation essence
in
into
your
it. So it's
treatment.
my own way of
How
conducting.
about somatic breathing?
That is also a part of constellation.
Meditation.
We do that.
And also physical exercise or yoga, and
I mean, all of that has a place.
right.
So when we are doing a lot of healing work for our traumas, so involving a lot of mind, right? Involving a lot of soul, healing around it, resolving things that doesn't make sense. I always tell people, clients and students in my space, please do a lot of body work also. The integration of mind, body, soul.
Physical, of course.
That brings you in alignment. So just doing spiritual and mind work and
Yes.
meditation is not
It
enough.
has to
It
be
has to be
collective.
embodied in the body. So I suggest them, please start yoga, please start walking, connect more with the nature. Alone meditation is not helpful.
Yes. So also tell me that how can people start exploring their family patterns, and then also how they can, and also the most important question, do you feel happy when you see someone completely breaking out from
Yeah.
that, holding them back, and then coming to you and saying, Shaista, you changed my life?
I've got so many
And you see
testimonies.
them performing at their peak, and
Yes.
them actually breaking that cycle and
Yes.
becoming
Yes.
the best version of themselves.
Absolutely. It's very important for people to realize that it's not just about taking session and coming out of it and not doing anything practically with your life. It's all about little choices that we make after we have had a revelation through these processes. It's a very mystical experience. So you don't lose that out in an hour or two session, and you don't do anything about it later on. So I tell people it's like a journey. You have to start taking yourself seriously. You have to invest in yourself, in your self-development. If you don't know yourself,
Yes.
how will you know anything else outside of you? If you don't know what is inside of you. Sometimes when I tell people, can you connect with your heart and tell me what's happening? That simple question can, they'll start,
Make so much, give
they'll
answers.
start crying, which is cathartic. This is the purging process. So therapy doesn't have to be very complex. Although it looks like very complex, but it's not. It's about the readiness of the person.
Yes.
The more ready they are, the more passionate they are about discovering themselves, life will begin to make sense for them.
And this question that we were discussing before is even medical problems are the root
Yeah, the
cause. If you
metaphysical.
can come about like understanding and not just taking prescription pills
Yeah.
And if you want the long-term healing, whether
Yes.
it's different kind of medical issues, people
Yes.
come to you for that as well.
Yes, my own healing journey, which actually propelled me and pushed me into the kind of work that I'm doing now, was because of arthritis. So I had unexplained pain and inflammation in my left knee. And I used to feel as if there is a rock around it. So the heaviness was so much, even though the inflammation was so bad. And I was still young. I was like, my God, I've got very young children. And if I can't take care of myself, how will I be able to take care of my children, right? So that gave me a push to start discovering myself and understand, not just from the medical point of view, what is happening in my body, but from the metaphysical aspect also, the spiritual aspect that normally people are unaware of, is still having an influence on them. So sometimes people come to me with back pain, or frozen shoulder. So my question to them is, in the healing process that I do, what emotion is still frozen inside of you that you're carrying here? Is it a guilt? Because in the body, we carry guilt or burden or responsibility on our shoulders. So people, over a period of time, will start having these physical symptoms to an emotional symptom. So they were already carrying something, some emotion, some chronic emotion that wasn't looked at, that wasn't dealt with, that was pushed down again and again. Oftentimes it's the guilt that we are carrying here, the sense of responsibility. You are responsible for many people. It could be your family, could be your clients, and now the body is manifesting. It's showing you, yes.
Even like diseases like cancer.
Absolutely.
And all these.
So cancer has a personality. Okay? Anybody who goes through that has a certain personality. They have pushed down, suppressed a lot of their anger.
Yes.
A lot of resentment, bitterness. That's not transmuted, that's not cleared. So like we have heard about that in, Sufism and in mystical knowledge, that if you're angry at someone, right, it comes back to, it's a boomerang effect. It comes back to you.
Yes.
And this is what cancer reveals. It has come back to you now. If you're bitter, if you're resentful, if you're angry with other people, actually the subconscious mind doesn't register it as them. It registers that bitterness, anger, resentment as you. So in our soul, there is no separation consciousness. There is union consciousness. So if I'm angry at you, I'm also angry at myself.
Yes.
And if that goes on for a period of time and you're not dealing with it, you're pushing it down, you're blaming other people for all the helplessness that you feel inside of you, that's what creates victim mentality also. Right? So that is going to manifest in your body eventually. Over a period of time. How much are you going to hold on to that anger and blame and,
Someone put it so nicely, just has come to my mind. Like how we eat food and it goes through the digestion process and eliminates. Similarly, those thoughts, those interactions, those social engagements, energies that your body is absorbing, right? You can't see physically, but this is also something that needs to be digested, understood, and released.
But it's not cleared.
Yes, which if not, then becomes into a disease.
Absolutely, because the body has its own consciousness. The body doesn't work like how we think in the mind. The body works on its own way. So there's fight and flight mechanism in the body, right? So what happens when an animal is running faced with a predator, right? They run, and when they're out of that danger, fight and flight, they shake their body, they release the effect of the trauma, and they come back to the baseline to regulate themselves. In our human world, we are not able to do that. So a boss can trigger that fight and flight for you, which of course when we do therapy, it was your father and mother triggering the fight and flight response for you. And that has not been looked at. In your childhood, you're not attuned to go back and regulate yourself.
Right.
So in terms of that, we actually carry nervous system of a family inside of ourselves. Our nervous system is just not our nervous system. It is also inherited.
Wow.
So if you live in a family system, in an environment, you grew up in a family where there was conflict and chaos and abuse, right? Or even sexual abuse. If you had to go through that, your fight and flight mechanism had been triggered off. And now you don't know how to come back to the baseline, to the default. And over a period of time, your body, and then of course, because now that hypersensitivity is there to such an event, anywhere in your life, wherever you're going to be exposed to similar event, it's going to remind your body that you're still in danger.
Right.
And people are not free from that unless we go back, we deal with the fragmented part of you, which felt danger, which felt unsafe as a child, from those people who were supposed to make you feel safe. So the fear that a child receives from the environment, from the mother, father.
The insecurity.
Insecurities, yes. And because of that, now when we grow up, the world still feels unsafe. Relationship, a partner,
Yes.
promotion. Sometimes people sabotage their promotions because it feels unsafe.
Yes.
They'll sabotage it. If they become millionaire, within some time they lose all that money. Why? Because having a lot of money feels unsafe. So who lost it in the family system?
Gorgeous.
That is constellation work. Who lost it? Whose life are you repeating? Whose pattern of dysfunction or losing money or not having a good, healthy partner? So women come to me with unhealthy relationships, right? Have you seen, so my question to them often is, have you seen any healthy relationship growing up?
Oh, wow. Have you witnessed it?
And
real life?
They would start reflecting, and I get goosebumps even when I'm talking to you about it, that oftentimes these ladies will be like, my clients will be like, no, I haven't. Is there any one role model as a couple in your childhood, in your teenage years, who you could look up to? And the answer is no. Then how are you going to allow that experience in your life?
How can you model that behavior?
Because you haven't experienced it. Your body hasn't experienced it. Your soul hasn't experienced it.
Unfamiliar with
So you'll attract partners who will remind you of the pattern that already exists in your family system. This is what constellation does. It breaks you. It frees you from what doesn't belong to you anymore.
Right.
And out of our unconscious love and loyalty. So this is what happens. Every child is very unconsciously loyal to their family system.
Of course, that's a given.
They can't go beyond what their mother, father could achieve. So if the mother was unable to receive love from her partner, and there was beautiful reciprocity of love, give and take, right? If that wasn't experienced by the mother, the daughter will also sabotage that. She will never be able to attract a partner who will balance that off for her.
But unless or until you figure it out, you sort it, and then you can achieve it.
Yes.
So
we raise the bar.
Yes. So coming back to my last thing, did you feel that arthritis that you mentioned? Did you heal from that completely?
Of course, for 3 years when I started my journey, I wasn't able to climb stairs.
Wow.
The moment I would look at the stairs, I used to feel so frightful. I was like, how am I going to climb the stairs? And in my healing journey, through constellation work, what came up for my personal healing was that my grandmother from my mother's side couldn't walk because she had a fracture. She was hit by a vehicle when my mother was married off. So my mother carried that pain of seeing her mother not unable to walk with a fractured hip and a fractured. So even in my childhood, I used to see my grandmother coming down the stairs while sitting. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so those epigenetic memories of what I had witnessed, what my mother was carrying from her mother's side, her trauma of losing her mobility, made me lose my mobility.
And you overcame that.
I overcame that. Now you saw me coming up and down.
Oh yes, you're a runner.
Yeah. I
you parked
walk
so
a lot
far
now.
and you came because
Yeah.
I think, Shaista, this is like one of my most monumental episodes because I feel that we have so much more to discuss. Yes. And I know for sure that all the audience behind the scene are really looking forward to connect. Thank you. Is there any last message that you want to share with the audience?
We have to find that inner courage, right? To look at ourselves, to look at what is it that's holding us back from our life. And actually we are not broken, but we are carrying that brokenness.
Yes.
Right? And through the courage to look at yourself, you can free yourself, not just yourself, but the future generation. I think we owe a lot. I always look at myself as an ancestor to the future generations. For me, that's a huge responsibility inside of myself to be able to pass on love and healing and transformation and faith in the unknown. That is what I could say.
Beautiful. And how can all our audience reach you? So we're going to have the social links and
Yeah.
all the connecting, addresses, and which is one of your most.
I use a lot of Instagram, Facebook. And I run a community on WhatsApp also. So
Right.
where I regularly host awareness meetups,
Right.
sometimes online, and I plan to do that in person also.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm creating that ripple effect, and in that community, people from different countries, are there, and
So it's a beautiful platform. And can you share your Instagram?
yes.
Which is
Shaista_trauma_therapist.
right. So we'll have all that down under our captions and description. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
once
much
more.
for having me here. It was lovely talking to you.
It was more lovely to experience these beautiful insights that we are going to replay again. And you can get in touch with our beautiful guest. And thank you so much again.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, everyone. And we will see you in the next episode.